How's it going, everybody? This is Top Driver. Hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. Alright, it's time for another edition of Random Thoughts. In this series, I'll talk about whatever is on my mind, whether it's something interesting in the world, a personal story that I want to share, or if I just want to rant about something. And for this one, I'm going to be talking about the two films that have been dominating the box office and have been sweeping the world in regards to cinema. And they are Barbie and Oppenheimer, better known as Barbenheimer. And I'm going to talk to you about why these two films are so big right now. These are two of probably the most highly anticipated films of the year, and not only have they smashed box office expectations, but they have really taken the cinema world by storm. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about both those films, and I'm going to share with you a few reasons as to why I think the Barbenheimer thing has become so successful. So obviously the summer is that time of the year where most of the most popular films of the year are out in theaters. Obviously there are a lot of big ones that are out there in regards to many different genres, you know, in the drama, action, romance, horror, sports, any kind of genre you talk about that. This is usually the time of the year in which all the big films really come out and shine during this time of the year. And it was no different with the two films that I'm going to talk about here, Barbie and Oppenheimer, which have really taken the world by storm. So obviously the first one is Barbie. Now this is the one that's really garnered the majority of the box office success and of all of the attention. This was released really about a couple weeks ago, and it was directed by Greta Ludwig. I think that's what her name is. I don't know. I'll have to check on that. But obviously it is based off the popular toy Barbie and its collection of dolls and toys that are from that brand, obviously from Mattel. And so obviously many people have talked about when they were going to see a live action film for it. Well, we finally had it this year. And so far it has lived up to expectations. It has really drawn a lot of people to go see the film, especially those that are usually not a fan of the brand itself, but still a lot of people have come out and really enjoyed this film. And obviously it follows the title character Barbie and of course her friends Ken and everyone else, obviously, and they just live life like obviously the toy brand Barbie, obviously, you know. So everything that you usually see in the commercials, especially with all of his toys and all of his stuff, they brought it all together in this one film. Now obviously one of the problems that I have had with this film is that it's PG-13 rated, obviously. I really would have thought that in a film like this that it would have been more attractive to also bring in, you know, that younger audience or something like that. I don't know. I guess there were a whole bunch of scenes in that film that probably wouldn't have been appropriate, hence the age restriction on that one. But still, it is a popular film that has really generated a lot of attention. It's also generated a polarizing response as well. You know, one half of America that has seen the film has loved it, while another half of the film, obviously, there has been a lot of criticism from them in regards to, you know, some of the ways that the film was drawn out and stuff like that. But still, it doesn't matter. It is still based off a popular toy brand, and when it comes to that, of course they're going to get a lot of attention, and that's why Barbie has been so successful. The other film is called Oppenheimer, which was, I believe, released either at the same time or a week ago. I don't remember when that was, but this is based off a guy that's more known as Oppenheimer, and obviously the father of the atomic bomb. Now we all know that World War II was the year in which the bomb really first took place, obviously the dropping of the first ever nuclear bomb on Japan, which really ended the war. Well, it really follows what happens during that time along with afterwards, in which we see the development of the bomb taking place. And unlike Barbie, this one bases off of a true story. We really see everything that goes on during that time and really see it in more of the lights of the title character of Oppenheimer. So really, it really brings a whole lot of drama and a whole lot of intensity in that film. And it's a very sensitive topic, obviously. We all know that the bomb, it really was one of the most controversial things ever made, especially when it was first dropped on Japan. I mean, I know that there have been a lot of people that have said, you know, that this obviously was what ended the war, but at the same time, this was what really started the arms race as well at times. You know, obviously it has led to further development of the bomb, including the atom bomb, and really, you know, it's just been, as a result, decades and decades and decades, nations like, you know, like those with dictators, you know, obviously they have been building up nuclear arms and a whole lot of bombs in anticipation of potential nuclear war or something like that. Obviously we hope that never happens. And yeah, just like Barbie, it has really become a huge hit at the box office and in theaters as a result, and really because of all the historical events surrounding it, and really just, you know, how familiar it is to everything that actually took place back then. a lot of fans of history, especially during that time in American history, you of course knew that they were going to go out and see this film. And so obviously, as you all know, history was a major part of this film, and really just the portrayal of this to really relate to everything that happened with the arms race then, to relate to what we're seeing right now, plus the A-list actor list that we saw in that film as well. And that's another reason why it has become so successful. And of course, because of the known familiarity with Barbie and Oppenheimer and the way that they have both dominated the attention in the cinema, that's why they got the nickname Barbenheimer. Obviously, two of the biggest films of the year, and really just gained a whole lot of attention as a result. And so really, the thing that everybody wants to know is, how is it that Barbie and Oppenheimer have dominated not only the theaters, but also all of cinema and the box office so far? Well, I think I have 3 reasons as to why I think they have been so successful so far. The first reason, I think, is the production value and the marketing. Now, obviously, because the first movie, Barbie, is based off of the historic toy brand, and also Oppenheimer related to true events, of course, there are going to be a lot more easier ways to be able to promote it. You know, obviously, all those that were fans of Barbie, you know, the producers of that film, they're going to promote to those that have been long-time fans of the toy brand. And of course, when it comes to Oppenheimer, you're going to promote it to those that really are huge fans of US history as well as world history in itself. And just, you know, it really looks almost realistic almost. I mean, you look at the production value of both those films, the way they look, you know, the way some of the actors perform and stuff like that, and it really looks entirely real. And I just feel like that, you know, it just draws you right in. I mean, Oppenheimer, it draws you right in because you have no idea exactly what's going to happen next, whether or not there's going to be another bomb that completely changes the entire complexion of the film, or if you're a fan of Barbie, you see Barbie and Ken ultimately make out, just like, you know, all the stories with all the toys ultimately go into, and they end up getting married and just live a happy life together. I mean, literally, they have the historical context, and because of that, you know, that's why producing the films, along with marketing it, is so easy for them. And of course, not only that, they both have A-list actors as well. Of course, you have Margot Robbie, who plays as Barbie in the hit Barbie film, and then you have a whole bunch of big-time actors that play in Oppenheimer as well. So, you know, you have all of those big names in both of those films, and of course, they're going to grab a lot of attention. It's really going to give a lot more attention to both of those films because you have those A-list actors in them, and so that helps with the marketing efforts as well. And of course, even with the strike going on in Hollywood, because of all the production value that's taking place and all the intensity surrounding both of those films, that's the reason why the cinema industry is still able to stay afloat at the moment, because of the high sales that have been taking place at the box office with both those films as a result. And a lot of that is because of the way that the producers and along with the marketing teams in both these films were able to effectively promote both Barbie and Oppenheimer to its fan base. So that's one reason why I think it's successful. The other reason I think is because of the historical context. As I mentioned before, Barbie is really known for its toys, obviously. You know, Barbie, Ken, all of their friends, all of their toys, you know, the houses and all that stuff. Those that were little kids when Barbie started to become popular, they are so well known to this particular brand that really, you know that it's just going to be so popular when the film came out. And Oppenheimer, as I've said before, is based on a true story. It's really based off the father of the atomic bomb. So of course, those that were fans of world history, you know that they were going to come out and see it because, you know, they studied this in school. You know, they learned a whole lot about the bomb, especially the atomic bomb and the nuclear bomb and all that stuff. And so you're going to get a chance to see what it was like from their particular perspective. And because of that, you know, that's the reason why we're seeing so many people go out to see both of these films, obviously, you know, just the history behind both of the subjects of the film. You know, when you look at toys, you know, those that are, you know, very young, you know that Barbie is going to be one of the most popular toy brands that those kids are going to want to get when they grow up. And those that really are familiar with history, that those that really want to know more about why we have the arms race that we have today with, you know, all of these dictatorship countries that really have all of these bombs in store and really just continuously testing and all that stuff, it goes back to that time. And they really get to see, you know, really all of the perspectives of that just in real time. I mean, you really can't get any wrong with that. I mean, obviously, with both these films, they were just able to bring all of that together. And as I said before, it really goes back to point number one, you know, the production and the marketing value of it, you know, because they were able to tie that in with the history behind both of those films. You know, it's related relatable, you know, everybody knows it very well. And of course, it's two highly anticipated films as a result. And so obviously, because of this historical context, a lot of people are going to become attracted to it. And of course, you're going to see a lot of them come see the film as a result. But finally, the third and most important reason why I think Barbenheimer has been so successful really is because it's just so relatable to everybody. Everyone knows the context in regards to both those films, and because of that, it just becomes so familiar to everybody, and really everybody just enjoys getting to see a film in regards to both of those subjects. As I said before, Barbie and Oppenheimer, those two films, they have really dominated the box office and in cinema as a result. And a lot of that is because, you know, a lot of fans of Barbie, they've been waiting for so long to see, you know, when they are going to get a live action film based off of the toy franchise. I mean, obviously, I don't know if there's ever been like TV shows or, you know, like small short stories in regards to that, but I don't really recall a real life Barbie film. Now, obviously, I was not a fan of that myself, but obviously, you know, the moment that this was then announced, of course, a lot of that younger generation, along with those that really have been associated with the brand for such a long time, you knew how excited they were going to be when this film was announced. And of course, Oppenheimer, obviously, as I said before, everything in regards to, you know, just the history behind it, and those that, you know, really dream of being scientists themselves, maybe, or those that just want to learn a little something extra that maybe that they didn't learn in school in regards to the bomb and stuff like that. Maybe, you know, just how the process played out and all of that stuff. Hey, those fans of history, I can tell you for sure, they were very excited when Oppenheimer came out itself, because they are so relatable to all those historians that have studied history, along with all those scientists that have discovered the effects of the bomb during that time in itself. And you know, the relations with the core demographics that both of the marketers and the production teams of the films that they were trying to reach us out to, obviously, you know, it's really one reason why it is so successful. Because, you know, in regards to Barbie, you know, those fans that have been fans of the toy franchise, they've been around it for such a long time, you know. They love it, you know, they obviously want to relive those days. And also, you know, because of that younger generation as well that are fans of Barbie as well, that's going to be very popular. Oppenheimer, obviously, you know, obviously the real history behind it, and, you know, just the context of it as well. That's the reason why it's so popular. Barbenheimer has really found a way to be able to really touch in line with all those that really have been well associated with both of the context of those films. And because of how relatable they are, of course, everybody that has heard about the announcements of both those films, they were going to go see it themselves. And obviously, that's the reason why we're seeing the high grossing rate with both those films, and just so many people going out to see them as well, because, you know, of how well that they were able to really touch it with the historical context of it, and really just how relatable they are to everybody's lives. How the toy brand of Barbie was really able to get its name, and really just, you know, how we ended up in the situation where we have bombs in this world today. And of course, those that have played Call of Duty and have really dropped some nuclear bombs in Nuketown themselves, you know, some of them, they're probably going to be attracted to Oppenheimer as well. And, you know, there might be some, you know, like, guys that might see Barbie as well. I'm not going to be one of them personally, but, you know, it really attracts everybody. And because of that, you know, no matter who you are, whether you're a kid, an adult, or maybe even some senior citizen or something like that, if you really love both Barbie and Oppenheimer, and you really love the historical context along with, you know, the real popularity of the toy brand, then of course, Barbenheimer is going to be for everybody. The summertime is obviously when the cinema industry is as busiest, but of course, with the strike that's been going on in Hollywood, a lot of films have been stopped in regards to production, and obviously it's very hard to see exactly where it goes from here. But as long as we have two films like Barbie and Oppenheimer, obviously, or if the sales that they've been producing, that's the reason why we've been able to see the cinema industry stay afloat for now, because of how successful they have been, how relatable they are to everybody, and just, you know, the way they have been able to attract everybody to be able to go see both of these films, or one of them are just a fan of one of those films in particular. Either way though, the both of them have just completely taken over the cinema industry for those reasons. So no matter who you are, if you are a fan of Barbie or Oppenheimer, then of course, if there's still time before both of them are pulled from the theaters, go ahead and see it. See exactly why both Barbie and Oppenheimer, or should I say Barbenheimer have been so successful at this point. And really, if you're a movie fan like I usually am, hey, just understand how important those two films have been this year in regards to cinema, because these are really the two big films that are out there right now, and I'm sure that everybody that is a fan of both of the historical context of Oppenheimer and the toy brand of Barbie, I'm sure you'll understand from them why Barbenheimer has been so successful. Now, obviously, I don't know if I have those two myself, considering how late it is, but all I know in regards to my opinion, I'm just excited to see Gran Turismo when it comes out later this month. Anyways, that's going to do it. Obviously, as I said before, Barbie and Oppenheimer, or should I say Barbenheimer, has been so successful and has really taken the world by storm. So I would really like to hear from you. Have you seen either Barbie or Oppenheimer, or have you seen both of them in general? And if so, what do you think? What do you think about both of those films? And more importantly, do you really think it lives up to the nickname? Feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I'll be more than interested in hearing your opinions about it. Anyways, that's it for another video. I hope you all have enjoyed it. As always, if you like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. Comment below for future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's vlogs, projects, or challenges, you name it. Leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for another midweek video. I hope you all are having another great day. As always, hope to see all of you again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.